Good morning, everyone. Texas, all of Texas. Let's get started with some numbers. We had a crazy month, crazy week last week, but we're all back. And for better or worse, we're stronger. And not just mentally, but our numbers are stronger. So if you want to get a pen and paper out or wherever you take notes to be able to share this on your listing presentations and buyer consultations, and especially when we're referring back and forth, agent count in Texas for the Ben Kinney side of place, 89 agents in Texas right now that we represent. Those agents have 182 pendings right now, 182 pendings. Those pendings, you guys, they equal $63 million in sales volume right now. And you guys, I just want to pause, $63 million, and it's only February, and February is not even done yet. That's really super crazy. You have officially closed 110 sales in Texas so far this year. That is 2 houses per day, 2 houses per day. It's only been 55 days. You have closed 38 million in sales volume. And that means that your average price point as a whole is $345,000. $345,000. The big news is in the first 55 days of the year, you guys have closed over $1 million in gross commission income. What does that mean? Well, that means that you've already net $535,000 in income. If you're not muted yet, if you just click your mute button, that would be really helpful. So $535,000 that you guys have net already in income this year. Again, it's only been 55 days. And you have a ton of closings this week. Right now we have 275 signed buyer reps. 275 signed buyer reps. That's a record. So this training right now with Fred is going to come really at a great time. It's going to be a way for us to take more listings, and then also a way for us to help more of our buyers. Fred is a good friend of mine. He has a fabulous team, you guys, in Southern California, and he can help all of your referrals out anywhere in Southern California, including LA. Today, he's going to talk to us about how his team is winning right now in a very competitive market, just like ours, and taking listings. And so since it's 8:30 here, it means it's 6:30 there. So thank you, Fred, for waking up so early to help us out. I know it's not your favorite thing. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Fred, and let you do your things. Fair?
Fair enough. So I have my 6:30 smile on. Is that good? Good? Awesome.
Good smile.
Cool. So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, my place family, are you freaking ready to take some listings? Give me a hell yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
So here's what I want to do, okay? Normally my kids are getting ready right now, which they are. So if you're screaming upstairs, that's them getting ready for school, all 3 of them, right? But it's an honor to be able to serve you guys. I love all my Texas people, right? And I want to be able to contribute. And I believe that we're in a market, ladies and gentlemen, that's unforeseen. I've seen this low inventory, high demand market 5 times since 2012 in Southern California. So when I prepared for something like this, I've been training for years for Keller Williams International, right? And I took all my virtual and family reunion trainings virtual to Zoom. Yet this was the topic that I really wanted to create. So I actually wrote this content 2 weeks ago. I've taught it last week in front of 300 people on Zoom. I did a Brevity happy hour last night, and the feedback has been resounding, right? In a great way, because I know that it works for us. So as a trainer, I knew that if it works for us in SoCal since January 4th, why the heck wouldn't it work in all across the nation, right? Similar concept. So what I want you to do is I want you to take notes. I'm going to go very fast. That's how I train. But for the sake of a power up and the dynamic, the way the context of this training is going to go is I'm going to go through the content first right away as fast as possible. Then I'm going to leave at least 15 minutes for Q&A right after, right? So 30 minutes of content, 15 minutes of Q&A. Follow me, work with me. Don't get distracted. Don't check your email. Don't check social media. You can close a deal in 45 minutes or take a listing. You just don't have to do it right now. Fair enough? Awesome. Let's rock and roll. So getting listings in consistently in a low inventory market. My cell phone's right there. My email's right there. I run Southern California. So I run Orange County. I have 2 teams in SoCal and 1 team in LA County. I've been licensed since 2004, since I was 20 years old. Our team last year did 60 million in volume, 120 transactions, 1.4 in GCI, closed and pending for the year. I think we're at 650 in GCI, 50 transactions closed and pending, and something around like 26 or 27 million closed and pending. So we're on track for about 2.9 in GCI, 200 transactions, and about 119 million in volume. So for us, that's very good. We're going to double last year. The reason why is I focused on listings taken and how important that was going to be, knowing we had low inventory last year and knowing that it probably wasn't going to drastically change in 2021, right? Now, obviously, you guys know our place numbers. So I'm not going to go into this, right? Obviously, we're in a great world. 5484 units, 2 billion plus in volume, $53 million in GCI. And like I said, locally, my team and I did about 120 transactions, 60 million in volume, and about 1.4 million in GCI. On top of that, guys, out of the 120 transactions last year, I did 40 of them. Out of the 200 transactions this year that we're going to do, I'm on track to do 60 units myself. Of my 60 units, about 35 are listings. So just so we're clear, I'm active in production. I run 18 agents, 4 staff members, and I sell 60 homes a year. Okay. So everything I'm going to do is because I've learned the concept of implementation. The one quote I want you to write down, a mentor of mine back in the day when I joined KW 7 years ago said the following: knowledge that is implemented equals wisdom. Knowledge that is implemented equals wisdom. Last time, knowledge that is implemented equals wisdom. I was a single agent from 2008 to 2013 at 100% broker, doing 6 to 8 units a year, 5 million in volume, and 100 grand in GCI. And I wondered why the hell I always made 100 grand in GCI and I only net $20,000 because of cap, splits, and expenses, because I never implemented what the heck I was learning. So all I ask today is you take one thing that just blows your mind, okay? Directly implement that into your business today when you hit the phones and go take some freaking listings. It's as simple as that. No excuses. If you're on my team, there's no freaking excuses. I will hammer you to take listings because I love you. And I think your goals are more important than anything else, right? And I know Adelina, Sarissa, and everybody else feels the same damn way. So main ideas for today: the mindset needed in today's market, why you need a listing goal, what are the effective lead pillars that we're using today. I'm going to talk about just 3 today, right? Why lead follow-up is critical and how technology assists you in taking listings. So here's a mindset, right? It's been a very frustrating market. We know that from a buy side, right? Listing, we're like, oh my God, I got a listing, money in the bank, right? Understand that today's market isn't permanent. Markets change. The only thing guaranteed is change. So this market will change. I actually believe it's already changing. Why? Because rates have already gone up in the past week. VA rates went from 2.25% on a 30-year fix 2.5 weeks ago. Yesterday, they were quoting 3.625. Do you think that's going to shift the market? You damn right it is, right? So it's not going to be permanent. Just know that. Yet the tactics we're going to talk about today will serve you in any freaking market that exists. Okay? Favorite book of all time is Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. What does Jeff Olson talk about? Jeff Olson talks about the simple little things that you do positively or negatively, ladies and gentlemen, will compound over time and positively give you results or negatively give you results. So feed your mind daily with the 15-10 method that he talks about. 15 minutes of a positive audio a day, 10 pages of a good book a day. How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? So listen to 15 minutes of a positive audio a day, 10 minutes of a good book, or 10 pages of a good book. I highly recommend Win, Make, Give. The new season came out last week. Ben, Chad, Bob are on fire, talking about winners, talking about losing. I've listened to every second the moment it came out, and I can't get enough of it, right? It feeds my soul. It feeds my mind. It preps me to be a badass listing agent, okay? Role play daily. I don't have to explain this to you guys. We're place. We power up. We work on closing skills. We work on training. We freaking role play. Face-to-face presentations are important. You guys are fortunate in Texas, other than last week. You guys are fortunate. We in Southern California have literally been 100% virtual since March 15th of last year, have not done any open houses, right? So we have to do everything via Zoom. Sometimes we get together, but it's very touchy-feely in Southern California, right? The laws are very strict right now, still are. Affirmations daily, making sure that you're working on I am statements every single day. I am a strong listing agent. I am a powerful listing agent. I am taking that listing when I walk in 5 minutes. No questions asked. Continue learning and having continuous learning, which you can never get enough of at Place, right? I have the pleasure and honor of being one of the trainers here and love to serve you guys locally and nationally, but there's so much. Just go to the toolkit homepage, look at the calendar, Monday through Thursday, 12 p.m. PST, 3 p.m. EST. There's a 30-minute training. You could be scooping on your salad or your steak or your ribs or whatever you're eating at lunch, and then watch a training, right? Never can get enough. And then here's what I want you to understand. Please understand this. I believe that the listing business is a sprint and a marathon. What does that mean? I can call a FSBO and expired right now when we hang up at 9 a.m. Central Time for you guys. Ring, ring. Hey, this is Fred Sett at Keller Williams, and I noticed your home came off the market as expired listing yesterday, and I wanted to see if it's still for sale. Oh, it's still for sale. Awesome. If you got your right price, would you be able to sell it? I'd probably sell it. Well, why do you think you didn't sell? Because the agent did a shitty job. Why did he do a shitty job? Well, because they didn't market my home effectively. Well, I can see that's a problem. So if I can get you the right price, market the home and get it sold in the next 7 days, would that be a problem for you? Not at all. Well, I'd like to come over and show you what I can get done to get your home sold, net you more money, and get you moved on to Arizona like you'd like. I have time later today at 4, tomorrow at 5. What works better for you? 9 a.m. call, 4 p.m. appointment, 5 p.m. listing today. That's called a sprint. And then flip it to circle prospecting, and that's a long-term game. Call, nurture, market reports for the next 9 months, follow up, touch base, listing taken in 14 months. That's called a marathon. Understand that the listing game is a sprint and a marathon, both. And set yourself up mindset-wise, system-wise, lead pillar-wise to be able to take advantage to the full capacity of both. Annual listing goals. You have to have a production goal. I'm not going to talk about it because you have one with our team, right? Have a closed unit goal for the year, whatever that may be. So hypothetically, let's just say your closed unit goal is 12 units just for a clean number, right? Know what percentage of your goal is listing based and buyer based. I'm a firm believer in 50-50. 50% of your closed unit goal should be listing, 50% should be buyers. Why? Because I believe that a well-marketed listing will yield you an additional buyer closing within 90 days. What does that mean? I take a listing today, it goes live. I put a for sale sign, I put a quickly sign, I circle prospect just listed and just sold around the neighborhood. I might do some Brevity marketer ads, some Facebook ads, push it out to my Brevity database. Either way, if I push it out just with the basic systems that we offer at Place with our listings, you'll get a 1-to-1 ratio. One listing taken will sell, and then one listing taken will yield to another sale, typically a buyer, but you may even get another listing closing because of it too. So track your production and your activity weekly on your 411s with your coaches, right? With Casey and whoever you meet with, and with Sarissa. But understand, all you have to do is know what your listing taken goal is and just focus on it. Take it in the time that you're supposed to take that listing goal, right? If you got 12 listings taken for the year, it's February, basically March 1st on Monday. Have you taken 2 listings for the year? If you only took 1, you have till Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. to take that other listing to be on track. Take those goals seriously, course correct where you need to. There's nothing better than front loading your goals in the Q1 and Q2. So first half of the year, there's nothing better than front loading your goals. My goal was to sell 40 homes this year at about 28 million in volume and do like 700 in GCI and then net 350 because I'm on a 50-50 like everybody else, right? My goal is to do 40 by the time I go on my RV trip on June 11th that I'm taking. So I'm front loading my goals so I can hit all my net income numbers for my family and my business by June 11th. So I'm working my ass off, right? And as should you. So just to give you a taste of this, I did this data on February 15th, right? So February 15th is when I did this. So our 2021 listings taking goal is 166 for the Fred Sett Group in OC and LA. Just so you know, in Southern California, we are not a units-based real estate business, just so we're clear, because our average price points are between $500,000 and $800,000. We have what we call commission breath. Do a deal, make 20 G's. A little bit different, right? Yet I knew that I had to build a business based off of units before I partnered with Ben. and even way more focused on units now because I understand the financial concept of a well-run business and a profitable business for myself and my staff members and my team. So 166 units for us from a listings taken standpoint only. Our closings goal, I think, is like 229 or 247, but 2021 listings taken so far as of February 15th was 20. So goal versus actual, we're technically as of February 15th, 96% on goal. How did I come up with that? 20 listings taken divided by a month and a half, because February 15th is a month and a half in the year. Simple math, right? That means we're on track to take 13.3 listings a month. Multiply that by 12, we're on track to take 160 listings for the year. Divide 160 by 166. That means we are a 96% on goal. So we've taken 20 listings and we're already at 45 closings closed and pending, or properties closed and pending. So only 20 we're focusing on, right? But look, we got 20 closings of listings and we have another 25 buyers. Think about that. I'm over 1-to-1, ain't I? So focus on listings taken and the rest will follow. Where did our listings come from? People ask me all the time. Past clients, repeat past clients 5, my SOI database 3, or our SOI, because this is all my agents, past client and Spear referrals 3, circle prospecting 3, which I'm very proud of, by the way, so far. That's the one I'm most proud of right now, circle prospecting. It's really starting to take off, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. Open houses 3, and people are like, Fred, you guys haven't done an open house since February of 2020. And I'm like, yeah, these are from 2019 open house leads that we've been following up on. Agent referrals 2. And I love your Orange County and LA referrals. I promise I will close. I swear I'll get you paid. And then online 1. So let's talk about lead pillars. I partnered with Ben July of 2019. Prior to that, we were not consistently circle prospecting. We did it randomly. We sucked. We got no business from it. We had no systems around it. I didn't believe in it. Then I heard this concept of $150 a day, $750 a week that we all talk about, right? And then I learned more about it. And I realized as a trainer, as somebody who implements and understands and is very, very humble, and I surrender to the process, and I want the goals for myself, my family, and my team so bad that I'm willing to do whatever it takes, ethically speaking, every single day to get there as fast as possible. Okay? I realize this, guys, this tactic and this pillar is a freaking gem. I call it the hidden gold of real estate. And I'll tell you why. So the tactic is we circle prospect via Mojo, like we all do with circle prospecting scripts. We have the Ben Kinney just listed, just sold. You have 2 types of circle prospecting, just listed, just sold, or straight conversational. Straight conversational, I learned from Tim Heil back in the day when I went to go visit him, and Chris Heller introduced me and all that stuff, right? And it's ring, ring. Hey, this is Fred at Keller Williams, and I'm a local real estate agent. And I was wondering, are you thinking about selling your home in the next 12 months? That is conversational, straight cold call. I like it if you have nobody to call, yet we all have listings that we can call around or solds we can call around. Always use just listed and just sold, because when you always use just listed and just sold, you're calling with value. Oh, hi, this is Fred with Keller Williams, and I just sold your neighbor's property down the street. I had 20 offers on the property, sold it for $40,000 above asking, and we had to turn down 19 buyers. So I have 19 leftover offers that want a home like yours. Have you thought about selling your home in the near future? When you call with value, they might want to say, I'm going to die in the house. I'm never going to sell. But when you say, how much did you sell it for? It carries on a conversation that can turn into a fantastic relationship. Okay. So, here's the thing I want you to get from a data standpoint. Please write this down. 750 dials a week, at least in our market, 750 dials a week should yield you, best case, 75 contacts and conversations a week. 75 conversations a week should yield you 5 seller nurtures. What's a seller nurture? Somebody who's going to sell in the next 3 to 24 months, right? They have a motivation to sell at that time. They're not 100% committed to any agent. You have their phone number, email, and address, and you have an identifiable timetable to follow up with them. Now, those seller nurtures go into Brivity. You follow up, obviously, market reports, etc. Here's our little secret sauce, and it's very simple, but I fell upon it last year, and we do it all the time. When my agents, we're doing about 9,000 circle prospecting calls a week, right? So I know this data very well. My agents who do 750 dials, about 65 to 75 contacts, 4 to 5 nurtures, they're doing 2 to 4 CMA calls from those 5 nurtures. What is a CMA call? Just write down CMA call. So I'm on a call with a homeowner of any walk of life, wherever they're coming from, right? And I say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, it sounds like you might be wanting to sell your home in the next 12 or 24 months if the timetable, falls into place with your life. You're like, absolutely. Hey, do you know what your home is currently worth? I have a general idea from Zillow and Redfin and Trulia. Awesome. What I'd like to do is just take literally a few minutes later today at 4 or tomorrow at 5, jump on a call with you or a Zoom call with you. And I want to send you your accurate comps today and just tell you what I think it's going to sell for even in today's market. So would 4 o'clock today or tomorrow at 5 work better? All I'm doing is I'm setting up a call to talk about the value of their home. When you talk to a homeowner about the value of their home for 5, 10, 15 minutes on a call or preferably a Zoom, right? You can ask so many more questions, talk way more about motivation. They'll talk more about, if I get that price, well, I'll do this. And it's an opportunity to have more time with a live homeowner on a call that you're delivering nothing but value, asking a series of questions and determining if they really are going to sell in the near future or if they're a nurture in the future or have a more solidified relationship. The mindset you need to have with this pillar is that this is a nurture game, meaning that you're adding future sellers and buyers to Brivity consistently and following up until they're ready. The beautiful thing is that nobody knows they're selling because you found them 3 to 24 months before they're actually wanting to do something, and there's rarely any competition. Why? Because let's say they're selling in 18 months, but you put them in the Brivity today. How many market reports are going to get if they're automatically set on the template every 2 weeks? 36 market reports from you, probably email newsletters, probably phone calls, right? Maybe some postcards, Christmas cards, whatever you guys do. They're going to get somewhere between 25 and 75 touches from you in 18 months. Do you think that you've earned some of their mind share? Yes, that's the answer. So there's rarely any competition. So lead pillars, let's talk about database. You guys know that when you have a database, you want to have at least 200 people in your Brivity database on day one when you join our organization. Number 2, you want to call everybody. So those of you that have whatever you have in the database, maybe you've talked to them a couple times in the past year. If you haven't already done so, I'd put all your database into Mojo or just use the Brivity dialer, knock it out in 5 days, call everybody and say, ring, ring. Hey, John, it's Fred Said. What's up, Fred? How are you, John? Awesome. Good. Hey, listen, do you have a second for me? Hey, I know you were on Facebook the other day. I know you guys are having a good time. You went on that trip to Arizona. How was it? Good? How's work? Awesome. Life is good? Family's good? Perfect. Hey, I got a question for you. I was thinking about you. What are your real estate related plans for the next 12 months? We have that script, by the way, in the toolkit, right? What I did is I went through a quick 7-second Ford method. Family, occupation, recreation, dreams. That should take 30 to 60 seconds. I'm asking what the real estate related plans are because you and I both know anybody in the state of Texas that owns a piece of real estate, investment, multi-unit, apartment, condo, doesn't matter. Everybody wants to know what their home is worth. Number 2, they all have real estate related plans because the 2 main vehicles to build wealth and the common mindset of society is a stock market and real estate. So they're either thinking about stocks or think about real estate. You got to find out what they're thinking about and you got to implement yourself in their way and help them execute their plan. Now, here's a fantastic question to ask. If they own a property, okay, ask the following question. At what price are you a seller? If they own a property, ask the following question. At what price are you a seller? You know why? Because everybody has a price. Everybody has a price. When you ask that question, then that will lead probably to a CMA call. Then it might lead to a listing within a week, a day, or 5 months. It opens up more opportunities. Our job is nothing more than asking a series of detailed questions. And like my friend and our leader, Mr. Ben Kinney says, you got to chase the rabbit down the rabbit hole. And you do that by asking the right questions. Now, when we have these individuals in our database, the key thing is that we have an auto plan in Brivity. I'm not going to say that you guys create this, but in Brivity, we have our own auto plan. I call it a quarterly call auto plan. It's simple. It's a recurring call every 90 days forever. So if I assign it to my best friend, John Smith, right? Brivity will remind me to call him every 90 days. So it doesn't matter what kind of touch program you guys have. The key thing is making sure you're talking to your database a minimum of every 90 days. Some call it every week, every month, but minimum every 90 days, right? Do not miss this call. We can postcard and email and Facebook and Insta our friends to death, but they want nothing more than for us to call them and see how they're doing. 2021, 2025, I don't give a rat's ass what's going on with technology. I believe that there's still an old school method of calling our people and talking to them voice to voice. Still powerful. We still have a heart, and I think it's necessary. And I'm passionate about that, and you can tell in my voice. Mindset you have to have with this pillar, ladies and gentlemen, is expect referrals and repeat business from these people. Also, keep adding to your database as much as possible because you'll receive short-term and long-term results here. And remember, if you're not calling your database, someone else is. And I'm okay losing a piece of business to a fellow competitor at Realty One, Remax, Coldwell, whatever. It is what it is. My blood boils if I lost a deal to Opendoor, Redfin, or Zillow. I'll be pissed. You and I both know those suckers are going after them hardcore right now. Okay? Call your database. Lead pillars online. So speed to lead is the name of the game. So call them as soon as possible. Buyer leads, Brivity leads, home valuation leads, whatever you got. If you receive a lead directly from any source, make sure you have an auto plan set. We have Brivity, so an auto plan has to be set, right? So lead comes in from any source. It's either auto plan is automatically set or you manually sign it depending on what it is. If it's a buyer lead, here's the key thing. If it's a buyer online lead, sign call, Zillow, whatever you guys are paying for. Hope you're not paying for Zillow, but that's another conversation. Ask them if they currently own a home or they rent a home. Mr. and Mrs. Buyer, do you currently own or do you currently rent? Oh, you own. Well, fantastic. What are you going to do with that property when you buy a new one? Once again, opens up a complete rabbit hole that you can chase. You might have to rent that property for them or possibly sell it for them. And if it's a seller lead that comes in, always close for a CMA call. If you guys are doing home valuation leads from Brivity or any source whatsoever, they're asking for a CMA. Like, come on, right? But the problem is that we'll get an email and a phone number. We'll call them once and then we'll set a CMA and say, okay, if you need anything, call me. Dude, hunt them down and get them on the phone and do a Zoom CMA call. It's critical, okay? Mindset you have to have with this pillar is this is an appointment-based mindset, meaning that you want to generate as many appointments and consultations from these people as soon as possible. If they are 12 plus months away from buying or selling and transacting with you, they'd be considered some sort of a buyer or seller nurture that you have to call a minimum of 90 days and send market reports and listing alerts to and touch base with. We all kind of already know that with our systems with Brivity, right? And it's good. It's a good reminder to have. Now, fortunes in the follow-up. Man, this is my favorite thing. 7 years ago, I joined Keller Williams, January of 2014 as a single agent. Prior to that, if you guys remember Ben Kinney, Chad Himes had something called IMSD, Internet Marketing Specialist Designation. That's how I met Ben 11 years ago when he started it or whenever that was, when I was a little punk ass kid trying to sell real estate. And I'm like, let's try this online thing, right? So I created my own WordPress site from scratch. I did blogs, I SEO'd it, I did YouTube videos. I mean, I was generating 200 inbound leads organically from Craigslist and Google without dropping a dime on marketing because I learned that from Ben and Chad, right? Even with 200 leads a month with tenants and buyers in Southern California, I was only doing 6 or 10 deals a year. Just so we're clear, that's really bad conversion. Okay, it sucked. It was horrible. I joined KW. I'm like, God, I got to change something. 2,400 leads a year, and I'm doing 6 to 8 deals, 100 grand in GCI, netting 20 grand, working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, not seeing my 2 kids and my wife. That sucked. But then this hit me. And ladies and gentlemen, with the pure honesty and humbleness of my heart, it changed my life. This changed my life. And I want you to take the following statements I'm going to read out extremely seriously. Shut your phone off, shut your email off, please pay attention and let it hit your mind, let it hit your soul, let it impact you, okay? 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. That was me. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. I was lucky if I made 2 calls. 12% of salespeople only made 3 contacts and stop. Never did that in my life before this. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. 2% of salespeople on this call, well, actually not us because we're badass. 2% of salespeople on this call are made on the first contact. So 2% of sales are made on the first contact, right? Here's the key thing though. Look at the last line. Only 10% of salespeople make more than 3 contacts. Let that simmer in for a second. Now let's go to 3%. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. 5% of sales are made on the third contact. 10% of sales are made on the phone contact. And then last but not least, 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. All of our sales guys are made on 5 to 12 contacts. So what that means is fortunes in the follow-up. You get a Brivity lead, hammer them in the first 10 days of pain. They don't pick up, okay, put them whatever status, unqualified, and then call them every single day, your unqualified bucket for the next 30 days. Follow up. If you get nothing more from this call today in this training, follow up on all your leads 4 to 5 more times than you currently are. And that alone will double your business in the next 12 months. So let's talk about the right tech. We kind of already know this, but I wanted to kind of relay this to you. I've done a lot of this training for outside place, Brivity, and KW agents, and they don't know about this, right? Auto plans. You have to have the right CRM, which is Brivity, that will help you convert the leads up front that you've received. Completing your to-dos. You actually have to complete the to-dos, and your CRM reminds you to do so. All of us partners have gotten our teeths kicked in by Mr. Ben Kinney over the past 6 weeks around Brivity. So I don't know how crazy Adelina and Sarissa have gotten with you guys. I've just gotten buck wild with my team from a standpoint of, dude, we suck at Brivity. We moved from Boomtown to Brivity a year ago, complete disaster, right? And now we got to clean it up. So we are on a hunt to make sure that our Brivity is awesome. And sometimes we as agents just don't even do our own to-dos that show up every single day. And we have 20, 30, 40 past due tasks a day. It happens. We're agents. We're busy. Yet just doing the to-dos itself in the time that it tells you to do it from a Brivity standpoint alone will change your business if you do it consistently and on time. Common sense, but we, including myself as an agent, has to be reminded of this every single day. And then market reports, no questions asked. God's gift to Brivity, honest to God. So I love market reports. Make sure all homeowners that have an address and an email address, market reports, we now have the ability as of a couple months ago to do mass market reports 50 at a time via the Smart Radius. I suggest that you do it. So what's the bottom line we talked about today? Strong mindset will lead to strong results. Don't underestimate the power of setting and tracking goals. Have at least 3 lead generation pillars around taking listings and working the system. I gave you 3. You can do whatever you want with your leaders, okay? Fully understand why they say fortune is in the follow-up. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fred Said. That's my cell phone number. This is my email address. I would love your referrals. I would love anybody who's moving to Southern California who wants a career in real estate to join my world so I can change their life.
Do you have time for Q&A?
That's why I did it so fast.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I'll start, and then while my people figure out what their Q&A is, so circle prospecting is something we do during launch, and then we usually don't touch it again. Do you have
that's
that?
Horrible.
I know. Do you have that happen ever? I only share that because it feels like circle prospecting is a rookie thing to do, and then we never do it again. So have you experienced that, and how have your agents overcome it?
They don't overcome it, and they're not on my team. Number 1. Number 2, $750 a week is the requirement. If you have more than 2 pendings at a time, you slip up, that's fine. If you're under 2 pendings, you're in my group coaching program that I have, and you got to do 750 dials. So it's a requirement. We don't have open houses, guys. We either call in our database or we're outbound calling. We're not door knocking. We're not doing open houses, or we're doing online leads. We have to hit the phones. Otherwise, we can't put food on the table. So COVID to us has been a huge blessing. I mean, we're averaging 8,850 dials a week for the past 7 consecutive weeks via circle prospecting with my agents. When you listen, guys, I want you to hear something. Make this very common sense for you guys. If you don't get this, God help you. Okay, very direct. You're on my team. I cracked the whip. I love you guys, so I'm gonna crack the whip. 750 circle prospecting dials a week. That's 90 minutes of calls on a triple line dialer. 90 minutes of calls a day should get you 750 dials a week, 5 days a week. 750 dials a week, write this down. Put 750 dials. Under that, put 75 contacts. Under that, put 5 seller nurtures. And if we have 52 working weeks in the year, imagine you take 4 weeks off. You guys took a week off last week, right? God forbid that happens again. But you worked 48 weeks a year. What is 5 nurtures a week times 48 weeks in a year? 240 seller nurtures, if I did my math correctly in my head right now. You had 240 seller nurtures that you have phone numbers, emails, and addresses, market reports on all of them. In 2021, you consistently follow up. You tell me how many of those listings you're going to take in 2022. You want a predictable business? You want to be an insurance broker of real estate to have a book of business that pays you a residual? Freaking Circle Prospect. Did I answer your question, Catalina? My dear?
Yeah, I think you did.
Hell yeah. Cool.
Hey, Fred,
Go ahead.
if you wanted to be a listing-based agent because you needed to leverage your time,
Mm-hmm.
and you say it's a sprint and a marathon, what would that schedule look like for amount of time that you focus on expireds and canceled, because that's the sprint,
Yep.
and then the circle prospecting because that is the marathon?
So what it will look like is a combination of 3 hours of total calling a day, in my opinion, no more than 3. 90 minutes of circle prospecting, 30 minutes of outbound FSBOs and expireds, and an hour of Brivity dials a day. That's 3 hours, right? 90 minutes of circle prospecting, 30 minutes of FSBOs and expireds, because you and I both know you don't have 3 hours of FSBOs and expireds to call right now, unless you're calling ones from the past 5 years over and over again. 90 minutes circle prospecting, 30 minutes of outbound FSBO expired prospecting, 1 hour of lead follow-up, AKA Brivity dials. 3 hours a day, every day, Monday to Friday. Our team is required to do 750 dials outbound a week. That's circle prospecting and FSBOs and expireds if they want, but 750 is the number, outbound dials. And they're required to do 50 dials in Brivity a week in lead follow-up. That's my standard. And it was 2 open houses a week too before COVID. You do those 3 metrics, you're on my team. You do those 3 metrics and you follow up and you listen to my coaching and our systems at place, you will net 100 grand a year. Good questions. What else? Come on, agents. I'm a nice guy, I swear. I'm just being me right now. I told you this is place. I could be me. I don't have to be nice on Brivity Happy Hour. I could just be me today. Any questions at all, guys? Good. Any objections you've gotten from circle prospecting at all that we can handle today? Any rejections about anything that you've received outbound calling in the past 24, 48 hours?
Fred, what's the most common objection you're hearing just in general?
Circle prospecting?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to die in this house.
Okay.
That's all. I'm not joking. That's what we get, right? So when they say let me give you an example. I'm going to die in this house. You guys might have gotten that before in prospecting in general, right? So what I say is, I don't blame you. It's a beautiful house that you have. It's a beautiful neighborhood you have. What I'd like to do, even though you're going to die in this house, right, is I'm going to keep in touch with you from time to time and give you an update of what the active homes are selling for in your community, what's in escrow, and what's sold in the past 30 days. All within your neighborhood. And I won't even bug you. You'll get an email every month. And if you need me, we can touch base. What email can I send it to? Market report. That was an assumptive close. I didn't ask her or him if they wanted it because they'll say no. I assumed they wanted it. I gave them value and I asked for the email. Number 2, I'll follow up probably 2 or 3 times a year via call and just check in. I've gotten referrals from circle prospecting leads that told me they wanted to die in a house, but I brought value. Hey, my neighbor's thinking about selling, right? Well, let me give you an example that really hurts. It happens often, unfortunately, right? To a lot of us. Generated a circle prospecting lead when I first started randomly calling like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, right? And then I called her, I touched base. I'm going to die in this house. Awesome. I completely understand. I kept in touch, sent her some mailers, put on market reports when the time came. I called her every 90 days for quarterly calls. She did give me referrals, but earlier in 2020, when COVID happened, obviously, save the business. What's going on? The world is going to end. So I missed my quarterly call in March. I missed my quarterly call in June. Okay. She freaking listed her house in August. I'm going to die in this house, right? My ass, dude. You moved. Liar. But that's my fault. That's my fault. But I know that if you put them in the database, you follow up, you bring value. Worst case, you get referrals. Best case, you sell their house. Now, speaking of referrals, let me give you one line. Let me give you one powerful line in a script that we've used the past 90 days when asking for referrals. Obviously, calling our database and our friends and asking for the order of the referral, and then anybody we know. Not who do you know or do you know anybody? They're going to say no. Who do you know is a great question. But here's the line. I forgot where I heard it from, and I thought it was powerful. It could have been from our group somewhere. Who do you know that I should know that? Write this down. Who do you know that I should know that? So who do you know that I should know that's thinking about buying a home? Who do you know that I should know that wants to buy an investment property? Who do you know that I should know that wants to sell for 20 grand above market value? That's a Ben script. There you go. Of course, it's a Ben script. All hail Ben Kinney.
Hey, Fred, while everybody's thinking about any questions that they have, I hear you. I hear what you're saying. I can see logically that this would create a predictable income. It would create a safety net that I don't have yet, right? It would create a stable business. Like logically, that just made sense to me.
Okay.
What causes people not to do the work? Like, what is it? Because if we all got off here and then just started doing it, all of us 90 days from now would be in a great financial position. A year from now, we'd be in a great financial position. So what the heck is it? Like, what have you noticed? Like, why can't we just go do it?
So I'm going to be very honest, and I don't mean to say what I'm going to say to disrespect any one of you, and I'm not kidding when I say this, okay? But I'm going to talk about myself as an agent, which I really mean a lot of us. I think we suck at instructions, okay? We want to go free. I want to go close, man. I want to see a seller face to face. I want to go close. I want to go get an adrenaline rush from a negotiation, and I want to go get paid. And I know all you guys do too. Don't lie to me, okay? And that's okay. We need the money to fund our life. But I don't want to do anything else. And sometimes I want to have the easy route. I don't want to have to make a bunch of calls. I don't want to go through all that work, right? I've had to surrender to that fact. So from a leadership standpoint, my advice to you guys on this call that are leaders, I had to surrender to this following thing. I have to repeat myself every single day about the same thing over and over again. I'm okay with the mundane of coaching. So Adelita, we struggle as agents because we want to find a better rate. We want to have a secret sauce from a lead pillar. We want online leads to convert them first second we call them. We have to surrender to the fact that we have to bug the hell out of consumers to get them to work with us and find them motivated, which means we got to do the same thing over and over again. $150 a day, 2 hours a day of circle prospecting, 30 minutes of FSBOs and expireds, an hour of lead follow-up. If you can just surrender to the fact that this is what I'm doing for my career, there's nowhere else I can go to earn the income and opportunities that I'm going to earn, right? Unless I'm an executive or a CEO of a corporation that gives me stock options, which with all due respect, 99.9% of the people on this call aren't going to get tomorrow morning, including myself. When you can surrender to that, then you can open your mind to what's possible and actually do what it takes. This business is a marathon. So it's tough. We suck. I suck. I want the easy pill. But at the same time, I have to surrender the fact that I got to do what it takes short-term and long-term to be able to do that. And if you have the vision for your own book of business in place of what you want to achieve, we as leaders will support you weekly to get to that point, as long as you do your 50% of the equation, because we sure as hell provide the 50% of value on our end, right? You got to do the work. It's tough, but it sure as hell is worth it. That's my perceptive and my opinion about that. So hopefully I answered your question, but that's really the truth, honestly.
No, thank you for being, we really appreciate your care and candor this morning. That was very good. I don't see any other questions, so I'm going to leave it at that because it's 9:15 our time, 7:15 your time. Thank you for waking up and being this fired up this early in the morning. Holy, I don't even know what you're like at 11 o'clock in the morning, but I don't know that I want to find out. I'm pretty.
I gotta go walk. I'm in the garage. I got kicked out for COVID, right? Provide the income, but I get the damn garage. Whatever. I'm humble. It's all good. I gotta walk in there. I got a 7-year-old daughter, a 9-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter that I love to death. That they're gonna be screaming their freaking heads off right now about going to school. So I gotta get freaking crazy. So I appreciate you guys pumping me up because I'm gonna put those freaking kids in check right now, and I'm gonna get them to school and go hit the phones.
I love it. I love it. Fred, you're the best. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.
Love you guys.
We'll see you next week.
Bye. Go
guys.
kill it. Be safe.
Thank you,
Thanks, Fred.
Bye, guys.
Thank you so much, Fred.
Thanks, Fred.
My pleasure.
Hey, let's power up, y'all. 1, 2,
2, 3. Power up. Power up. Power up. Power up. Power up. Woo. Bye.